The new raid boss is out in the game, and if you've been struggling trying to figure out which teams or characters you should be using, well, I'm going to throw some characters at you that I think are really good that I would recommend you guys build and invest in for this content. So today, let's go ahead and dive into that topic specifically. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and here we go. So there's a number of characters I think are really good. I did a video yesterday, a tier list. Obviously, unfortunately, with tier lists, people just shoot to the end. They don't watch the context or anything like that, not even for their favorite character that they're going to contest their placement. But regardless, the main takeaway was that I don't think there's really any bad characters, whether it's 4 stars or 5 stars. I think they all have use cases. Some are the problem is that some are better than others at certain things that they both want to do, which is why I ranked my characters the way that I did. And so Mina, I think, was A rank on my tier list, and I think Mina against this raid boss is easily S tier. I think she's one of the best characters you can use possibly. She's designed for content like this, and she is able to really maximize her damage output. So Mina is a character that gets 19% by default, but this goes up to 32% extra damage against giant kaiju. So everything she does is automatically buffed by another 19% against giant kaiju. She also has the effect here for focus, where at 3 stacks, a friend texted me there. She has an effect there for focus. With 3 stacks, she's able to get 100% crit rate. And then after applying the buff, she does pull off the focus stacks. With her first extra passive, she is automatically supplied with 1 stack. After defeating a kaiju with an ultimate, she gets an extra ultimate. This effect specifically is really good in other content where you're going to face the bunch of waves and stuff, so you can get to that ultimate much faster. But while she's also high on HP, she gets an extra 15% attack, and so she just does really good damage. She also has a buff here to apply extra damage dealt and normal damage multiplier for 2 turns as well, which again can be buffed with the skill leveling and all that. And then after attacking, does a damage taken debuff. And her biggest problem is her speed. She's just kind of slow. You can help that, I guess, with uniparts. You can manipulate it if you want to support characters like Hoshina, and maybe that's why Hoshina is designed the way he is. But her main thing is that she's slow. But her first dupe kind of patches that. So if you've got a duplicate in her, she's really able to kind of manage that. Now, the only tricky thing is they didn't just give her a flat out 15% for 2 turns bonus at the start of the battle or something. It's after using an ultimate. So it's after she gets her first one going. So where she would really be maximized is with other speed manipulator characters. And you also do want to have a sustain character out there with her so she can maintain that high HP threshold of above 15%, or maybe the Akari chick as a healer if you wanted to do that. I mean, sustain, there's only a few of those in the game, period. So it's Akari, it's Isao, there's like Kota, I think maybe that's like it, right? So you probably would also be best suited putting her alongside one of those characters. And again, you can help with the speed stuff. Maybe put her alongside Hoshina, like I mentioned earlier. You would also want another DPS out there. Maybe that's Renault, who could also help you in that regard as well. So keep that in mind. But she is a character that I think is extremely strong in this content, and a character you guys should be going for. And if you look at the list here, she's one of 2 characters I don't own. So unfortunate for me, I don't have her. I don't talk much about weapons, but her weapon is also good. It increases her ultimate charge rate, so that's good. Of course, the attack increase, all that stuff, so it's good. But if you're like me and you don't have her and you want other characters to consider, well, guess what? Gen blows this up too. Gen is another character. I'm not going to glaze him this time. We've talked a lot about Gen. Gen's insane. We know it. Gen's good everywhere. Fine. Okay. just flat out. Gen's good everywhere. He's going to blow this up. He does really good damage here. And he's another character you should be prioritizing using if you have him on your team. Moving on from him, because like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on Gen. And again, for all these characters, weapons, of course, their primary weapon would be the best choice. There would be other options you can use if you don't have them. There's also those battle pass, like 5 stars you can exchange for. So keep that in mind too. So another character to consider out of all these characters that I don't know is going to get a ton of love because she's pretty, I would say, controversial. Like, some people have her really highly, some people have her lowly, some people debate how good she is, and that's Kikoru. So Kikoru is interesting to me because, especially with her first dupe, she picks up the crit bonus, and then she's able to do all that crit damage with this tip-top shape effect. And then as she goes, she's able to, if at 1 more stack, the hit rate goes up. There's also effect in here where her tip-top doesn't fall off, right? Is that the 3rd dupe? Ultimate charge. Oh, it's the last one. Oh, I didn't realize that. I don't love that. I love tip-top being on. But attack increase, crit damage up, so she's going to be able to do a lot. And then also she's going to supply that defense down for 2 turns, which will be helpful, of course, against this boss. So that's going to be huge. She does really good damage, and she also starts with the extra 60 on the charge gauge. You could use her as a character to help you with this. And really, ultimately, if you've got dupes in a character, I would strongly consider said character, right? Like, I would strongly consider said character, particularly if you've got like 2 dupes in said character. I would strongly consider them. Speaking of strongly consider, not going to spend a ton of time here either because we already know what he does, but especially if you've got 2 dupes in him, he's kind of nuts because he revives insane. But Isao, one of the only sustained characters, you can either go for him or you could go for Akari, basically, but I use Isao because he's able to still do that damage and then apply the shield to help the overall team. And then he also is able to draw a little bit of hits as well. So that's not necessarily the worst thing. Sometimes, though, I will say when Isao is doing that like increased likelihood stuff, sometimes he goes down. So you got to make sure that you build him up as much as possible for that. Quite literally, I'm going to say quite literally, I think all the characters are good in Raid, except maybe Rin. Is it just Rin? It's like quite literally just Rin, right? And it's not because Rin's bad. It's just I don't know that she doesn't do anything that you really need here. And her modifiers are low. She's trying to destroy plates, of course. After destroying a plate, advances the next action order, which is not bad. She's just kind of bleh. Each time she defeats a Kaiju, gets ultimate. So she's just not great here. And that's fine. That's not a problem. Speaking of another character that is pretty good here, Kaiju. So basically, for the record, like I just said, all the characters are good here to a degree. Kaiju is interesting here because of the fact that he is going to be able to get stacked up pretty effectively. And after getting all those stacks, he's going to be able to hit really hard. He doesn't get his insta-delete effect. That's extremely specific. It's not very often. I basically play him like he doesn't have this. But when you have that first dupe in him and he throws that basic, he starts charging his ultimate very fast when oscillating between the basic attack and the combat skill. So Kaiju is going to be very strong here as well as an option for you to use. But I think ultimately, if I'm being honest, I would probably run a team between Narumi, Mina, and then Renault, who I keep forgetting about because he's not on this page. Renault, it's funny because the story is like, Renault, we need your help. It's so, like, they clearly want Renault to be the focus of this, of course, and that makes sense because he's the brand new character. They're all new, but technically he's the new premium character. Renault is awesome here. He will blow this up. He's another character that does great damage. He's also really good for the freeze. Like, I don't know if people talk about this enough. Like, the chip damage stuff is good. The freeze is really good. The delay action is really good. That is one of the primary functions of Renault. Delaying action order on the enemy is massive, and that is especially strong, and this will segue us into our next piece. That is especially strong against bosses like this because you want to destroy plates, you want to destroy their delay their action. That is especially strong when you start looping turns, and that's where, you know, we can kind of talk about some of the other SR characters. And again, Hoshina, I didn't bring him up. He's solid too, of course. Some people think I hate him. I don't hate him. I think he's really good. I think he's really, really good. And he's also, I mean, he's better off as a crit damage dealer. That's the way he's designed to function. Speed, crit, all that stuff. But he's not able to get this extra 15 because this is a giant kaiju. So there's that. But it's not that he's bad, right? He's really good. He's a character you could use. I just would prioritize using any of the other 3 characters. But if you don't have the other characters, then of course I would consider him too. And again, kaiju as well. But while I just basically threw every character in the game at your face, I kind of realized I was doing that. I was like, wait a minute. Low-key, right around the time we talked about Ren, I was like, wait a minute. Low-key, all these characters are good here. It gets more selective as we talk about the SRs. Hoshina is a character I would consider. You can use him to help with Mina if you want to do that. He can be a solid support for her, especially if you got dupes in him. Akari is another character I would consider. If you need a sustain, you're finding your team is dying, they're not built up enough, she could be a character that I would invest in for the healing. The SR Mina is solid, but she's a support character. She's not going to function the same way. I don't think she even has giant kaiju stuff in here. No, she's got a solid ultimate hit, but she doesn't have that. Yeah, she's got the morale effect, which is good. Increases the target's damage and combat skill damage. That's not bad. Very solid. Rio, another character I would consider using just for more supporting. And then we have this, like, handful of characters that are damage over time characters. They are ones I need to finally test. I haven't really got into doing them yet. they are interesting characters. I need to check them out. So maybe there'll be characters that are solid here. I know a lot of people were talking about the old guy here, KG, for his poison, but they capped it off. Like, it would have been nice if they didn't cap it. They capped it. So that's another thing. And then lastly, speaking of KG, he could also low-key be really good here because of the stun. 80% chance stun, but I believe he has an effect rate up. Yeah, effect rate up. Solid. And then also, for the record, another stunner here. Wait. KG and AG. I was like, wait a minute, is this the same name? What? KG and AG. Another thing, he also has a stun here too. So like, he's another character you could potentially put in there to be useful for you. But really, the main takeaway is that there's a lot of characters that are just good in this mode. But the character that truly I think will shine the most is some combination of the top three. Tippy top S tier is going to be Mina, Renault, and Gen. Those are the three characters I think are the best here. And then if you're building a team, you're building around those characters, right? That's what I would like to say is the best setup for this overall. And you could, again, you can continue to do the speed meta thing where you're delaying action order with guys like Renault, and you're increasing speed with Rio, with Hoshina, these characters that do that, and then you just blow up. You could put Mina in that last spot. You could put Gen, Narumi in that last spot. I guess you could put, if you really want some sustain with there, I wouldn't do it, but you could put Isao. But yeah, you could do those three. Again, Renault, Rio, and Hoshina with Mina or Gen. I think that would be really good. Or Kaiju No can be in that spot as well. He would be a solid damage dealer as well. Haven't talked a lot about him because he's strong. But one thing, just really quickly, I'm finding with Kaiju is he kind of really wants to sustain next to him because he starts getting hit really hard. He gets hit really hard. So, I mean, they all get hit hard, but he's not able to live, the same. So he really needs dupes also. I think he has dupes in there that also increases survivability. But he gets hit kind of hard. So, yeah. Where is it at? Yeah, right here. After activating a normal, recovers 10% of the attack, which actually could be a lot. That could actually be a lot. That could be a pretty sizable heal. So, anyways, guys, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you are new to the channel for more content. And I'll see you all in the next video.